They won millions, and tonight they talk about it.
Plus, these rockets weren't supposed to explode, but they did.
Plus, what would it take to get you to sleep outside in the cold tonight?
Live at 11 starts right now.
Now, the Capital Region's #1 late news, News Channel 13, live at 11.
Tonight's top story takes you behind closed doors. Just what were they talking about when New York's senior senator met today with the First Lady?
This is News Channel 13, live at 11.
Good evening, I'm Ed Dague.
And I'm Kari Lake. Thanks for joining us tonight. Political minds in this very political town are wondering, will she or won't she?
First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton met privately with retiring Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan.
Our Kumi Tucker was not a fly on the wall there, but she has been looking into what the two talked about, and she joins us live with the details. What did they talk about?
Well, no, not a fly on the wall, but when asked about the meeting, Senator Moynihan said, vote counting. Mrs. Clinton appears to be slowly feeling out whether she should or could successfully run for Senate. When Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan steps down, the big question is, who will fill his seat? Will it be First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton? Moynihan's not saying, but he did meet with her at the White House for over an hour, going through New York election returns for the last 30 years. He said he didn't encourage her to run.
That was out of my position. She didn't ask me to do that, and of course I'd support her if she did.
Another question is if she can afford to run. She's an old hand at raising money for others, but it remains to be seen if she can do it for herself. Then there's her family's legal bills costing millions of dollars. If she did run, she might be up against Republican Rudy Giuliani.
I guess I'd be less than candid if I didn't say the idea of a race like this is kind of intriguing. I mean, it would be a very important race nationally. It would contrast two very different philosophies of governing, and it'd be an interesting race.
I think when we lost Senator D'Amato, we lost a consummate New Yorker who knew how to fight in Washington and bring things back for New York State. And I would love to see us have a senator like that, someone who knows this state from one end to the other, and someone who is committed to fighting in Washington to try to get New Yorkers our fair share of what we send down there.
Mrs. Clinton's advisors say she has not raised any money or commissioned any polling yet, and there aren't any plans to do so. Kari?
So what is the timetable? Did she give people any idea today if she is going to run, and if so, when?
Well, her advisors are saying that it could be weeks, even months. She's taking things very carefully, step by step. Of course, if she decides not to run, then the Democratic Party has to find someone else who will.
Well, the coming weeks, I'm sure. Thank you, Kumi. Ed.
Some local politicians are spending this cold night camping out in Albany's Townsend Park. Kelly Lynch tonight met some of the people who are the reason for this all-night vigil. Kelly joins us live with more.
Well, Ed, we see them all the time. Some people walk right by them, some look the other way, some stop to even give them some spare change. Tonight in Townsend Park, people are spending one night the way the homeless spend every night.
The human condition can adapt to just about anything. I already learned that a long time ago.
Matthew lives on the streets of Albany. He's been doing this 2 years.
Yeah, 2. I got a lot of miles on these sidewalks.
While he hasn't been homeless all that long, he has his routine.
Dude, can I get a quarter, man?
But it's not one he's proud of.
You hang around outside, and you wait till people come out, and you ask them, can they spare any change or anything like that? Sometimes they give you a quarter, sometimes they give you $1, sometimes they give you $5.
He asks for change or even a cigarette.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Well, coming up with money is hard. Catching some rest is even harder. Where might you sleep?
Oh, you mean sleeping on the street?
Yeah.
Right here.
Bobby's story is different, but his life on the street is the same.
If I would walk on the streets and look for a car, it would look like unlocked, and it looked safe. My street instincts would be...
Bobby's living in a shelter right now. He's sober and looking to make a clean start. But just as he needs them, the people who run the shelter need help as well.
So the people that we're serving, if they don't come to our shelter, they're going to be outside sleeping on the streets, facing possible injury, frostbite, death.
The shelter needs $7,000 to stay open so they can give people like Matthew and Bobby what they need to survive.
What's that old saying? If first you don't succeed, try again. So I'm going to try again.
The crowd looks kind of small right now, but about 150 to 200 people are expected tonight, including Congressman Mike McNulty, County Executive Mike Breslin, and lots of high schoolers from all across the area. Ed.
We lost one key on your story, Kelly, so we probably should tell people that was Donna DeMaria, your last
Yes,
interview.
it was. Yes, it was.
She runs the Homeless Action Committee?
Yes, they're open in the winter months. She brings people in and gives them a place to sleep, some food, and they really need about $7,000 to stay open for the rest of the winter.
Wow. Thank you. Kelly Lynch reporting from Townsend Park, downtown Albany. Karen.
Just days after an attack on campus, the University at Albany is taking steps to make sure students know what to do when trouble strikes. University police, counselors, and members of a rape defense program passed out information and advice today. On Tuesday evening, a SUNY student says she was grabbed from behind and stabbed. She managed to break free from her attacker. So far, no one has been arrested.
The former head of the FBI office in Albany was pepper sprayed and dragged from his car along the New Jersey Turnpike this week. Police say Victor Gonzalez was driving erratically when they pulled him over. Then they say he tried everything to avoid being arrested, including even wrapping his arms around the steering wheel, shoving his feet under the seat while troopers tried to pull him from the car. Gonzalez was finally charged with resisting arrest, driving while intoxicated, and refusing to take a breathalyzer test. And then there are the critics who say something stinks about former Attorney General Dennis Vacco's new job. Vacco has taken a position as Vice President of Government Affairs with Waste Management Incorporated. What's interesting is just a few months ago, as Attorney General, Vacco filed a lawsuit against that company. That suit was settled 2 days before Vacco left office, allowing Waste Management to acquire one of its chief competitors. Vacco was one of 3 attorney generals suing that company. All of them had to agree before that suit was settled.
A local family is waiting right now for one phone call that could save their son's life. As Karen Lehane shows us, an entire community has come to the aid of Michael Cancer Jr., but only a tiny stranger can save him.
It is a homecoming filled with relief. It was a lot. It was tough.
Little Michael and his mom and dad returned to Albany tonight after Michael underwent 5 days of testing in a Nebraska hospital. They have confirmation that Michael needs an intestinal transplant and possibly a new liver. That much they'd guessed, but now there's word he might need a new stomach. It has been a long road home, and with the testing behind them, they focus on the future.
I'm sure that he's going to do fine. I have faith that he's going to be okay.
Michael is on the donor list for intestines that have to come from someone his size or smaller. And a soft-spoken mother knows that 1/3 of babies in need of a transplant don't survive the average 5-month wait. But Jacobia doesn't give up.
Now we just wait, and they give us a call, and we have to be there within 4 to 6 hours.
That call could save Michael's life. But Jacobia knows another baby's mother would have to go through the loss she is fighting so hard against.
It's hard to deal with, knowing that somebody has to die in order for him to live.
Karen Lehane, News Channel 13.
We do have some uplifting news tonight. Life is about to get better for a golden retriever who has had a pretty tough time of it so far. Authorities found Goldie about a month ago living in the basement of a vacant apartment in Whitehall. For 2 weeks, they believe she had been surviving by eating carpet and drinking water from a broken pipe. Today, Goldie met her new owners, Barbara and Mickey Shipway of Burnt Hills. Barbara made the 100-mile round trip from her home to the upstate SPCA shelter every day to visit Goldie. Goldie's former owners are now facing animal cruelty charges.
Years of playing the lotto have paid off for a Waterford couple. Don and Jean Harwood are New York's newest millionaires. They still have a hard time believing that they were the sole winners of a $17 million jackpot.
Yeah, I don't get excited. I'm a very low-key guy.
He is.
So I knew I had the first 4, and I was writing them down, and then I heard 11 and 3, and I knew right away I had it. And she was thinking I only had 3 or 4 numbers.
I said,
you didn't have a supplement. I said, I got them all.
And I almost dropped dead.
Well, we won't take any more.
I'm glad she didn't. Don says, can you believe this? He plans to keep on driving his Ford Escort. Their only immediate plans are to take their grandkids to Disney World, but they also say they are going to make sure that their kids get a good education. They are a cute couple.
They really are. They really are. We've been getting sort of an education this week in storm tracking, at least over the past few days, it seems.
Yeah, Bob's been sweating it out. It's been back and forth all week, but now it looks like this weekend storm is going to miss us. Bob Kovachick joins us from the Weather Center.
Meteorologists do not sweat, we perspire.
Oh, of course.
Remember that. All right, let's talk about tomorrow. Breezy and cold, some sunshine, no storm, out to sea, 6:46. Sunrise, some sunshine at 22. And the day will top off near 32. Fairly breezy with a blend of clouds and sun. Back with the forecast into early next week, coming up in a few minutes. Ed.
Thanks, Bob. They're talking about tearing down a local mall and putting up a new theater. We've got that story coming up in about 20 minutes.
And we'll also get you caught up on the possibility of a NATO attack on Kosovo this weekend. At 11:15, you will see $130 million worth of satellites going up in flames. And then at 11:34, we're going to help you plan your weekend.
Live, local, late breaking with Ed Dague and Kari Lake. This is News Channel 13, live at 11.
News Channel 13 is sponsored in part by your Chrysler Plymouth dealer and by Raymore and Flanagan.
Check out News Channel 13 online with MSNBC and NBCIN.
Welcome back to news that the state of Ohio has executed its first prisoner in more than 35 years. And they called 36-year-old Wilford Berry the volunteer because he said he wanted to die rather than spend the rest of his life in prison. Berry had waived all of his appeals. Public defenders took his case to the Supreme Court anyway, but the court rejected their arguments, clearing the way for tonight's lethal injection. Berry was convicted of killing his boss back in 1989.
Former O.J. Simpson attorney Johnny Cochran will represent the family of an unarmed man who was gunned down by 4 New York City police officers. Cochran took a look at the apartment building entrance where Amadou Diallo was killed. Police officers mistook Diallo for a rape suspect. They shot him 41 times. The Reverend Jesse Jackson is calling for a federal investigation of this shooting.
American bombs could begin falling on Kosovo by sunup tomorrow morning.
Tonight's World Check begins with the deadline at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Troops like these from Robins Air Force Base in Georgia are getting ready right now. That's because NATO is threatening to begin airstrikes if the Serbs and ethnic Albanians don't reach a peace agreement. At last report, those negotiations were continuing.
Kurdish supporters clashed with Canadian police in Montreal today. The protesters support rebel leader Abdullah Öcalan, who was captured by Turkish agents this week. The Turks blame Öcalan for the deaths of nearly 30,000 people who have been killed during separatist fighting.
The first black graduate of West Point has his good name back tonight. With family members looking on, President Clinton pardoned Lieutenant Henry Flipper. Flipper was court-martialed back in 1881 after a white commanding officer accused him of stealing. An investigation years later determined that Flipper was indeed innocent.
Local veterans are remembering an important event in American history tonight. They raised a flag here to commemorate the day 54 years ago when a flag was raised over the island of Iwo Jima. The picture from Iwo Jima has endured as a stirring symbol of the American effort in World War II. 6,000 Marines and nearly 900 sailors lost their lives trying to take that island.
We are about to show you pictures of a rocket exploding in its video that the rocket's builder, Boeing, did not want released. Last August, a Delta III rocket blew up over Florida's Atlantic coast. We see the $130 million satellite it was carrying going down in flames. And tonight, we know what went wrong. A computer program controlling the rocket's flight didn't compensate for the rocket's vibrations. So Boeing is now working on that program, and they plan to launch more Delta III rockets in the coming years.
You know, there's a lot going on this weekend in the capital region. We are going to run down a couple of events a bit later on in the program.
Excuse me. And we will nail down that forecast. Bob is working with his hammer over there right now.
All right, nailing down the weekend forecast. It's bye-bye storm, but cold breezes and sunshine through much of the weekend. Back in a moment.
and weather with meteorologist Bob Kovachick.
Okay, you've got to check this out. This is the snowman in Bob Kovachick's front yard. No, I'm kidding. It's actually in Bethel, Maine. They say they built the world's largest snowman. He is 113 feet tall. Each button is made of 3 tires. The scarf is 100 feet long.
Wow.
To build that in Bob's backyard, he would have to scrape all the snow existing in Saratoga County together, I think.
That's true. It's getting tough to build a snowman now. You know,
Yeah, mine died in the front yard.
Done. Maybe we'll get more snow, but not this weekend. Let's talk about the weekend. Happy Friday night, everybody. And fairly cold out there, but not terribly so. 30 degrees at the present level with a mostly clear sky, some scattered clouds, and north breeze at 8, taking the wind chill down to about 19 at the moment, and the barometer steady at 30.01. 36 the day's high, 29 the low. That's close to the normal high, but you know, normal low is right in the mid-teens, and that's what we'll be looking at, even lower than that much of the weekend. 66 the record high, and -7 the record low. 20s and low 30s in the area right now with a north breeze from the southern Green Mountains down through the Berkshires to Great Barrington, 33 in Catskill, 29 in Nassau, 30 in Guilderland. Most spots will drop about another 8 to 10 degrees in the low 20s by early tomorrow morning. A northerly breeze blowing the colder air in. There's also an increasing north wind on the coast from a developing ocean storm. That's the same storm that we thought was a possibility, at least early in the week, would give us some snow on the weekend, but those chances diminished during the middle and end of the week. And in fact, that storm is now moving fairly well offshore and will certainly not play a role in the weather here in the Northeast this weekend. Chilly air, increasingly chilly air. There's a strengthening high-pressure area in eastern Canada, and that will deliver the cold air in so that tomorrow night temperatures will drop into the single digits, and then Sunday night and Monday night readings will fall to near or below 0. So we got a shot of cold air coming, but it'll be essentially dry with no storms this weekend. The main storm center is now shifting offshore after spreading some snow and rain through the mid-Atlantic. 5 inches of snow fell today in eastern Kentucky and a half a foot in the mountains of western Virginia. But basically, this high coming in for the weekend will deliver increasingly cold air. Daytime highs probably not out of the 20s, low to mid-20s on Sunday, and may not get out of the teens during the day on Monday. Our next weather system will gradually take shape over the far northern Rockies and slide southeastward. It's going to take time. This system yet very much in the formative stages, but could bring some precipitation here along about Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Here's the winter storm radar showing the rain and snow sliding offshore. Dry here, and we're seeing some building area of snow and mixed precipitation across the mid-country. So as we said, this system pulls offshore tonight into tomorrow, moving well offshore. Gusty winds, maybe a little brush of snow over southeastern New England and Cape Cod, but basically a windy, cold weekend on tap for us. Back in a moment.